They actually called me their mother. I'm the mother of the Beyonders. I decided to stay here, whereas I had opportunities and ideas. Just imagine that my husband, as I said, Alex, is a software developer. It would have been very easy for him to move anywhere else. You know, I feel it's way more valuable if you leave a mark in the place where you were born, and fortunate to be born here. We need a shift of mindset. We need more courage to act. It's amazing to see foreign peoples who chose to stay here and work here. Imposter syndrome is it's there. I followed the law school, you know, maybe as a rebellion to my parents.
If someone sees only your LinkedIn, it looks very classic, let's say. On Friday evening in Bucharest, instead of going out, dozens of entrepreneurs, managers, and future CEOs are here in a classroom, taking notes, asking tough questions, trying to become the next generation of leaders in Romania. At the heart of this energy is Andra Ghibuțiu, CEO and co-founder of Beyond Business School, a fast-track executive MBA built in Romania for Romania, with one mission: to shape a new wave of business and tech leaders. Today we will talk about what's broken in the traditional education, how communities can transform a country, and why Romania is the right place to build ambitious school, not just for today, but for the future. I'm Dylan Delomois from Romania Insider, and this is Voices of Romania, recorded on the field where things really happen. Hi, Andra.
Hello, Dylan.
Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. We have a lot of topics to go through, but to start the discussion, when you walk into a room on a Friday evening for a CEO talk, what do you feel first?
What I usually feel, but maybe a little bit more of that. It's like a huge level of energy. To explain a little bit where I actually think it comes from, I think it comes from curiosity. I think it also comes from the passion of our Beyonders, because these are events that are designed for our community of Beyonders. Their passion to know more, to learn more, and to engage in meaningful conversations with the community members.
If you were right now surrounded by your participants, by your Beyonders, as you would call them, who are they in your eyes?
They actually called me their mother. I'm the mother of the Beyonders, or as Raluca, one of them, sometimes says, the mother of dragons. These are high flyers from companies, and some of them even entrepreneurs that actually want to go to the next level of their career, and they want to invest energy and time in going beyond in their knowledge and in the educational field.
How many CEO talks do you have in a year?
So I would make a distinction first. At Beyond Business School, we have the cohort spending from January to March each year. So specifically for this, we have 10 CEO talks, because it's basically one on each Friday evening. We start our weekends like this, in a nice and cozy way. And then we have prepared for the community for each month a different type of CEO talks that it's open for the community, for the whole Beyonders community, and not only closed for the students in the cohort, because in the cohort we have around 35 people, and then when we have the CEO talks outside of the cohorts, we usually have around 45, 50 people. We like this type of smaller scale, very connected events.
Before talking a bit more about Beyond, let's talk about you a bit, Andra. You started with law and international business management.
True.
If someone sees only your LinkedIn, it looks very classic, let's say. But when did things become non-classic for you?
Well, I think they were, for me, non-classic from the beginning, because, you know, I followed the law school, you know, maybe as a rebellion to my parents, who told me from the beginning that I should follow an economic university. And just to prove them that I can design my own path in life, which I obviously did, I went to the law school. So then, you know, with years, wisdom comes. And I realized that basically they were right. So I went for the economic studies as well, go through an international affairs economic master, and then even started my PhD. And I will have to admit here on public that was actually one of the poorest decisions of my life to actually drop that PhD after 3 years. Just to answer your question, I think they become non-classic the moment when I realized I would like to get more involved in the community. And at that time, it was about the tech community where I was getting involved into. And when I decided together with my husband to open a company related to this, to design specifically tech events for the developers community, software developers in Romania.
So your husband is a tech guy, right?
He's a tech guy.
And for you, like coming from the legal field, economics, how did you move, let's say, to organizing events with your husband, you know?
Well, it was quite easy, you know, so I'm really passionate about organizing things. So all the people I know come to me to ask me about, you know, consultancy and advices to organize things. So it's in my blood, I would say. I really like to do it. And it started naturally because he was involved in the Bucharest Java users group back in the days, somewhere around 2010. It all started, and then it felt naturally because since 2015, the DevOps group, which is a huge developers conference in the western part of Europe, came to us because we were already very well known in the market, and they offered us the opportunity to take the franchise for the Vox Days conferences in Bucharest. And this is basically the way it all went formal when, you know, putting the energy and the passion that we did before just for the community to put it into a company and officially entering the entrepreneurship field.
And do you feel as well for Vox Days like the mother of the community in some ways?
You know, imposter syndrome is it's there, and I have to admit about that. So I consider myself a technical person compared to the law persons. And compared to my colleagues from the law schools, for instance. You know, I finished college with mathematics and physics, so it's clear, it's in my blood in a way, and I really like tech things, and I understand it, and I really like it. So this is why I actually learned a lot in this field, and I have to admit I'm a bit, how shall I say, not egocentric, when you want to have things for yourself. So I enjoy this kind of events for the community, for the tech communities, because I had the chance to learn myself a lot of new things. And I'm proud to admit that, you know, I really know a lot of things in this field. And actually, Alex, my husband, tried to convince me several times to get into this software development things. But I said, okay, let's keep things for people who are actually better at this field.
And making a link back to Beyond, so for example, with Vox Day, you were surrounded, let's say, by leaders coming to the events, leaders in a community,
I would not say exactly leaders. Some of them, they are indeed tech leads who lead from the technical point of view, some, you know, teams of developers, but actually the backbone of the community, it is designed for software developers and architects and people who basically write code. So we did hundreds of events and hackathons and all kinds of things that are especially designed for them.
But now with Beyond, you help them becoming leaders.
Exactly, exactly. And actually we are planning to launch another very interesting program for tech people in Beyond Business School. And we are aiming to launch it after our MBA program will finish at the end of March. In April, we will aim to do that. And this one will target specifically the leaders in the tech field. which is a bit different approach, and we will try to do this kind of program where we would invest a lot of knowledge in the hard skills, but also a lot in the what we call power skills, the old kind of soft skills.
Super interesting, and I'm glad we have the announcement.
Yes. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
And jumping to Beyond, what convinced you to jump into this journey?
Well, I would have to admit that it was something that I was aiming for many years before this opportunity actually arose. And it was in a way funny that I was usually attending events, tech events only. So at some point I realized, hey, let's go out and go to some business events. And that was the time when I actually met Greg. And when he told me about his idea, I couldn't have found a more, idea and project that could better fuel my passion for both organizing things and education. Because a couple of years before that, I was involved at the Academy of Economic Studies as a teacher myself. For international negotiations, international finance. Those were some years that I cherished a lot, and I really enjoyed this part of my professional career. So I thought it was the perfect combo, organizing things and teaching and giving back to the community this education-related program.
The satisfaction of giving back is, I think, one of the best satisfaction you
can have. Yes, I feel the same way. And I'm basically very happy to extend what we started on the tech field with now on business and leadership with Beyond Business School.
This is fantastic. And you didn't choose with Greg to do something like, let's say, typical in terms of MBA, because you choose to do a fast track weekend MBA format instead of the 2 years classic one.
Yeah, true.
How did this decision came from?
Well, we definitely did not invent the wheel. It was a process of reverse pitching that we've been through. We basically pitched to around 20 CEOs that after that we also evolved in our program as guest speakers in the CEO talks. And we asked them specifically their needs inside the company. So how many high flyers they have, what they usually recommend them, do they usually attend international MBA programs, and what are the challenges related to this? Because we know very well this type of programs, they require a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money at the end of the day because they are very expensive. And then people have to go they have to go outside of the country, and then this means a lot of travel, this means a lot of time away from the family. So it's not something that it's easy for the student or for the company to integrate in the busy schedule. And we are referring here at executives, those people who are really, really busy during the weekdays, and it's even more difficult for them to actually be able to do that during the weekends as well. So it was a process of reverse pitching, and we asked them specifically their needs, and all of them say the same things. If you would design a program that is specifically structured and for the Romanian market needs, and you will build a strong community of people that would help each other here in Romania. So they won't necessarily target jobs that would be at regional level or global level. And if the price of the program will be a decent one, so we would actually be able to send more high flyers from our company and not choose X instead of Y and get Y a little bit upset and frustrated that he didn't pass the selection to go to the international MBA, then we would support you. And this is exactly what happened.
I like something that you are usually saying with Beyond is that you are shaping the new generation of business leaders in Romania.
Yeah,
when you say new generation, what do you mean?
I I mean that we are trying to shape a new leadership profile of leaders. First of all, the type of leader that will be really authentic, really human, I would say. And then the type of leader that understands that continuous learning is essential. And you cannot stop at some point and consider that you know and you know all and you have all the answers. You have to be agile, and you have to have this desire of continuously improving yourself. And then we would also think about the type of leaders that would combine the ambition with very good qualities like, empathy, also taking care and giving back to the community. The kind of people that then they don't want just to follow their ambition, but they want to also be accountable and responsible for a lot of things that they do, and for the community also. And sustainability is also very important, and ethics are also very important. So these all are traits that we are actually trying to build in our future leaders.
And if you would create, let's say, a leaderboard of all the skills or qualities you were mentioning, which one would be on top, the most important to be a good leader?
I think it's about being close to people, authentic, and also human. I think this is I would choose this one.
I would choose the same, yeah. And you were talking a bit earlier about the fact that during 10 weeks, let's say you have 20 CEOs coming to the MBA
Even
to
more
give classes
sometimes.
or to the speeches. How did you convince all those CEOs to give up on their weekends to give back to the community, let's say?
Well, it's a question that is also valid for all our trainers, actually, because they all come during the weekends. The CEOs are also only involved during the Friday evenings, and it's, let's say, more manageable. But for the trainers, it's actually a bit more complicated to go away from the family. I think it's about their passion of giving back to the community. This is something that all of them have in common, and told us that they are very willing to contribute to the growth of our community and to feel part of this community. And again, we feel that it's their need, their response to the community to give back practical things and go in this direction of sharing their knowledge and sharing about all their discoveries with the people who are actually interested in listening to these advices.
And I mean, maybe some of them were enthused, let's say, to do this kind of model of giving classes.
Yes.
Did you get a lot of wonderful surprises, they discovered some skills that they weren't sure?
Oh, definitely, many of them. I mean, we chose our trainers in a very interesting way. I mean, first of all, it's definitely the human part, and then it's the professional part. So we knew all of them before. I would even call them that I will call that we were friends with them. So this is a strong word again. At this level of leadership, I don't think it's that important to, follow a specific rule of how to teach, like in the way that you have this kind of classes in the university where they teach you how to teach. It's again a different approach that we are trying to bring through Beyond Business Skill, and that's exactly the fact that people talk from their experience and from their practice, and this is, in our opinion, it's the most valuable thing. So yeah, maybe they don't follow the perfect rule of teaching, but they do speak from their heart, from their knowledge, and from their experiences.
I see, for example, Thierry Olivero from Air Liquide.
Yeah.
I think he did 2 years.
Yes, 2 master classes, indeed.
And he told me like he loved it, and I mean he's
Yes.
like, yeah, I would like to do more, you know, because I love giving
Yeah,
classes.
I know. I'm meeting Thierry next week actually, and we are involving him in many other projects that we are designing together. We have many surprises waiting for the next year.
More announcement.
No, I won't say anymore. I already said too much about the technical course.
And the first cohort was 2 years ago, right?
Yes, it was in 2024 with 31 students, and then it was the second one this year.
And what made you think after the first cohort, like, yes, this is working?
This is working. Well, here is very easy. We are a little bit crazy with data because we also have a course that is called data-driven decision making. So we just don't want to make any assumptions like, I love the program. Okay, I do, obviously. But we are crazy about feedback forms. So we actually send each weekend, at the end of each weekend, a feedback form where we ask our Beyonders all the possible questions, how they felt, how they rated each and every CO, each and every trainer for the specific course that they attended or masterclass during the weekend. So basically we have a huge database of all this data, and we analyze them, and we improve a lot. And when I saw all the amazing feedbacks that we shared about the energy, the great vibe, content, and so on, that was the time after the first weekend already when I felt, yeah, we are on the good track.
I can see your excitement about it. Yeah,
yes, I'm really passionate about this project.
You've said once on LinkedIn in Romanian that there is too much theory at university in Romania and not enough practice. What are the consequences for you that when you have too much theory in the university?
Well, unfortunately, again, I was happy to jump into this project, and because many reasons. Some of them I shared them before, but one of the reasons was exactly this one. So I felt so disconnected from reality at the point when I was teaching. And I realized it's such a pity that valuable people who can then become mentors of the students and grow them are not enough involved in this kind of projects. So the main consequence, I would say, it's maybe a lack of energy, maybe a lack of leadership, and then they enter the work field. And you see this huge gap between what they actually learned in the university and what they are required to do and what people expect from them, what the managers want to accomplish. And they just see this amazing gap. And this is where, in our opinion, we can help. And this is why we have drafted this project and this business school to be completely different and to actually bring only people with practical knowledge in our programs.
I remember an example in a previous episode with Kaline Matei from Groupama. He was like, yeah, I finished school, I arrived in the company. My manager was believing like 100% me, and he gave me a project. And then I did it with my knowledge from school, and I quote him. He was like, it hit me like a wall, after, because it's not like that. Like the reality of the field is not the same
at all,
as
unfortunately.
what you have in school. Yeah.
Not at all.
And on so talking now about Beyond, which is not, let's say, too much theory. After a weekend of classes at Beyond, okay, what are your students or your Beyonders able to apply on a Monday?
So in our program we have, I would call them classical courses for an MBA like program, like finance, marketing, sales, things that are really useful for this business field. But what we tried to bring that it's a little bit uncommon, I would say, it's public speaking, which I think it's very important for all the managers. You cannot pitch anything if you don't have the smallest public speaking skills and techniques, because that's also not only an art but a technique itself. And then we have this data-driven decision making that I have already mentioned, that is very important nowadays, maybe more than ever, to actually analyze all the data that you as a company gather and make the most out of them. And we also have AI course, which is very important and obviously very practical nowadays. And all these are things that people, starting Monday, they can apply. And then, the lessons on leadership, having Magor Chibi amongst us, telling us how to build these very strong teams, we feel that with each interaction with him, things, small improvements, you can already see after each and every weekend.
If you could redesign, you don't have the case that much in Romania because you don't have, let's say, real business schools like we can have in other countries. But if you had the power, let's say, to redesign the education, let's say, more globally, but like university, economic schools and stuff, what would you keep and what would you throw away?
The knowledge base is important and is well done. So if you are really passionate about the domain and it really suits you, you learn a lot of things. So nobody can argue about that. But I would go into changing the mindset rather, So the way people should see the world and the work environment after they finish universities, this is a completely different approach. I would recommend mentorship. I would recommend bringing practical knowledge and again people from companies to tell the students how things are done in that specific company and to expose them, to have them exposed to this kind of practical knowledge. Otherwise, it remains only on theoretical level. And again, it's this huge gap. So this is, I would do a change of mindset. A change of mindset.
I was thinking about how I would have felt in Romania in the education system, In France, for instance, when you have like 12 out of 20 as a grade, that's pretty good. You are not bad, you are not super good, but you are okayish. I was thinking like if I would have studied in Romania, like to have, let's say, because here you need to have like 9 out of 10. Yeah. If you have 10, that's wonderful. Here, I think I would have been the most terrible student in the school, And what do you think, from your perspective, Andra, about this system? I wouldn't say which is super elitist, but which is super with a lot of requirements.
Again, I think it gives you a good knowledge, but it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. So I would just go with an example because I had many discussions lately about this. So even if it's counterintuitive and it's amazing to say this, but do you know that in the law schools, for instance, we don't have courses on public speaking and on debate, for instance, and the law school prepares future leaders in this law field, future judges, people that go in the bar and they will pass their exams and they will have to talk
go to court,
yeah, and they will have to go to court, and they don't have this minimum sense of public speaking and debates. So these kind of things, these kind of skills, people need to learn. People, and the sooner they start to do this. I know I have friends that they have their children in high schools, in private universities, and I see very good signs in this field, and I think things going in these directions, but it's so much more that needs to be done in this field. Way much more than just, inserting knowledge and another course and another one and so on. It's always about how you actually make the most out of the mindset, how you inspire people, how you empower them, to think differently, to act differently.
Especially in court, you can have the biggest knowledge about the law and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's the rhetoric
exactly
that you have, which is convincing or not.
Exactly. So if you are not able to convince the judge, I know it's a different, of course, system than in the American system, where you have other people that you also need to convince. But still, this is very important.
Coming back to Beyond, you wanted to you want to expand, let's say, in the future in Southeastern Europe, because I know that it can be replicated as well, because there is the same lacks, in the region.
Exactly.
Why do you believe this model can travel?
I think this is precisely because it can travel. It can travel because I feel that some other universities and Eastern Europe has more or less the same problems. I don't know how easy it is to be replicated. We are actually discussing in expanding to Poland nowadays. It's not a very easy scalable project, because we strongly believe in face-to-face interactions, and the whole program is designed to be with classes, physical classes. We don't have things online, and we strongly feel that building a community that actually is strong, it's also about having the physical connections. And this is, of course, more difficult to implement in other states. But basically, we are trying now to find the best partners and insert specific markets like Poland, probably Moldova and Bulgaria in the future, through these kind of partnerships. This is what we are planning to do.
And a big added value, I believe, for this, let's say, business or field is the network that you can bring, like the CEOs,
yes.
the trainers.
Yes.
So it's important to be able to rely on people that are able to
exactly.
bring.
It's also a problem, if I can call it like this. Because it's not very easy to find a local partner that actually has access to all these CEOs. And I'm very happy that together with my partner, Grégoire Vigrou, we are very well connected. And, once people know you, it's way easier to convince them that you have launched another business or you have launched another project. And because they know you from previous other project that you were successful in, they will, of course, have the trust in you and follow you. And this is something that we are trying to figure out, to see who can be the perfect partner in all these countries to actually implement this project, both from the CEO Talks perspective and the community perspective, but also from the trainer's perspective, which is not very easy.
And which is
either.
super important. Yeah.
And very important, yes.
This is the earth of it,
Yeah.
And regarding Beyond, what was the hardest moment since launching Beyond that you've been through?
I feel each day is hard. It's hard because nowadays the market, it's not at its peak, I would call it this way. We've been going through strange times, and I feel that it's a constant effort, but in a good and positive way. I would not think about a specific period of time when it was hard, because I cannot say now it's easy and it was hard and now it's easy. It's a challenge all the time, because what I feel it's the most difficult part is to convince people to go out of their family for 10 weekends. And that's difficult, because you really need to find those high flyers that are passionate about learning, and the family situations lets them do that. So like we usually have the problem with the women who have small children, and actually they are not able to find a solution to have them letting care of during the weekends, so they cannot subscribe to the enroll in the program. So it's tricky all the time, I would say.
Yeah, and I think it can make you like overseeing, like, oh, maybe there is an issue with that, with the period or during the days, or.
We again, since we rely a lot on on all this data, we did analyze them a lot, and we still feel that January to March, is the best time of the year when people, at least in theory, and companies, at least in theory, they open the year in a more, not relaxed, but let's say not as fast as Q4 usually is. So yes, we are looking into a lot of data to try to find the best answers to this kind of logistical problems, I would say.
Yeah, and it would be even trickier, like in September with the kids.
Yeah, no
like
way.
starting
We have
school,
people asking us, we have this hashtag back to school mindset, people are more relaxed after the summer break. And then they all ask us, why don't you have a cohort in starting September? Because it cannot be done. People are too busy during their weeks and they cannot actually immerse in this educational project during the weekends. It's too much, and they really need to have a balance, because this is what we preach also, to have to be a good leader, you have to have a good balance between your personal life and professional ones. You
and
cannot.
It needs commitment.
Exactly, a lot of commitment. Yes.
Do you hold like a strong belief about Romania that could be considered like too optimistic?
Sometimes I hear that Romania is not at the same level as the western part of Europe, and from the professional point of view. I don't think so. I'm very optimistic about this. I think we have the knowledge, and if we add some very strong skills here on this leadership field, more optimism, more enthusiasm sometimes, more curiosity, more passion to grow, I think we are definitely on a good track.
I totally agree. And talking about that, like the potential about Romania, you could have built like a school, I don't know, like this in Paris, in Berlin, or even like fully online. Why did you choose Bucharest? Like why with Greg you decided to do it like in Bucharest, in Romania?
Well, I would say it's a personal matter for sure, because Greg has been here since many years now, more than 16, and he's so passionate about Romania. I'm Romanian, so I strongly feel that we have to do things for our country, and for each one of us, as much as it's in our power, we would have to do it. So in my power, I felt it was during the times with the tech community to raise as many stars from the tech community, from the developers community, and actually I'm really happy to witness this. I mean, I'm proud to say that Vox Days and the incremental community launched all our Java champions, and we have 6, I believe, nowadays, 6, 7, something like that. And yeah, it's a national feeling that it gives you joy and optimism, and then we have to fight for people to stay in Romania and not to leave the country, and we have to do our best to actually attract them and feel them empowered to stay here.
Talking about that, if a Romanian living in London or Brussels, for example, is listening to this and thinking, should I come back, what would you tell them?
Well, I cannot, make personal recommendations. I can only say that I decided to stay here, whereas I had opportunities and ideas. Just imagine that my husband, as I said, Alex, is a software developer. It would have been very easy for him to move anywhere else. And actually, he had some ideas about moving to US many years ago. And somehow I managed to convince him not to do that, and to, I feel it's way more valuable if you leave a mark in the place where you were born and fortunate to be born here, then if you choose to go somewhere else and maybe just have maybe a better life, but not with the same mark and amplitude of, impact.
And for example, for instance, like in Romania, what is like the biggest opportunity from your point of view in terms of business and talents? Just to give like a bit of overview from your opinion about the market, let's say.
It would go, I say, in line with what I have already mentioned. We have amazing talent here, amazing knowledge, and we are very well known for this. I would just say that we need a shift of mindset. We need more courage to act, and more courage to be involved. And, maybe a little bit more responsibility. And once we do that, I think nothing can stop us.
I feel like in Romania, this is moving so fast.
Yeah, it is.
And I think Romanians who are living abroad for 10 years, if they would come back like a week, for example, in Bucharest after 10 years, I think it would be a shock.
Yeah.
Since I'm here, like the last 4 years, I already see like how fast it grows, it develops. So I imagine like people who left 20 years ago, it's not the same Romania.
It's actually very funny. I have to tell you one thing. So, us Romanians sometimes tend to criticize, to over-criticize our country and only look at the bad things. And there are bad things. There are everywhere bad things. But what I realized since this partnership with Greg and since being involved in the French community a lot and many other communities, international communities, it's amazing to see foreign peoples who chose to stay here and work here. And this is fantastic. I mean, of course, for us as Romanians, it was the first choice. Yeah, we stay here, it's at least in theory easier. But to see people who move to Romania to work here and to make a life here, this for me is mind-blowing. And I started to actually ask them for their reasons and, starting with securities, better security and, finishing with a lot of opportunities that you cannot find in, more developed countries and in the western part of Europe. It makes sense. It makes sense. And now I'm happy to actually look at our country and at our environment with completely different eyes. And if you want to look like this, you see the changes. I mean, you can see it even from 1 month to another, from, real estate, even with the traffic, unfortunately. But, even traffic means that, of course, not the best logistical approach, but still, it means that the business is running, there are opportunities, things are ongoing.
It's easier to see the empty part of the cup.
Exactly, it's always like that. Yeah.
But I can only relate about what you were saying.
Yes. I wonder why.
But yeah, you always see at the empty part of the cup, you always think that the grass is greener outside.
Exactly.
Course. But even like, for example, if you're from Brasov living in Bucharest, if you go to Brasov like twice per year, you see differences, it's always the same. But when you are living on the spot, like in Bucharest, you don't necessarily see every day the difference,
True.
but there are changes for sure on a daily basis.
They are.
If you had a giant billboard in Bucharest, let's say on Piazza Victoriei, for example, that every Romanian at home and abroad would see, what sentence would you put on it?
I have a quote that I like. I don't know who invented it. It's like never stop learning. I find this, the most important thing in life. If you have this approach of you are never enough, you can always be smarter, you can always learn some more, professionally speaking, or I don't know, even personal things like, things for your heart. I think you make a huge difference with this.
Super. Thanks a lot, Andra.
Thank you, Dylan.
Wonderful. So this was the second episode of Voices of Romania. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube or Spotify or Deezer or any platform you are using. We are releasing podcasts pretty often. Thanks a lot.